So what is the mind, and why do some people seem to question existence more deeply than others? The study of consciousness is one of the last great intellectual frontiers. It touches not only on the mysteries of science, but also on the very essence of what it means to be human. This is an extraordinary moment in the history of thought, and I would argue, with full bias, that I have the most fascinating job in the world. What we think we know about the mind is evolving at an astonishing rate. Many long-held beliefs about consciousness, identity, and self-awareness are turning out to be incomplete or just flat-out wrong. Some of these misconceptions are obvious, others not so much. For instance, we used to think that the mind and body were separate, that consciousness was something immaterial, floating above our physical brain. But now we know that our mental experiences are intimately tied to our biology, and yet not entirely reducible to it. Another myth is that we are rational creatures by default, that we use logic to guide most of our decisions. This couldn't be further from the truth. Cognitive science has shown again and again that we are driven by bias, emotion, and deeply ingrained mental shortcuts. So what does it actually mean to be conscious? What does it mean to think? These aren't just academic questions. They influence how we design technology, educate children, and relate to one another. The most groundbreaking insight from recent years is this: every thought you have, every belief you form, changes your brain. We call this mental plasticity. Not so long ago, it was believed that by adulthood, the core structures of our mind were set in stone. Your personality, your worldview, your habits, fixed, immutable. But the reality is far more hopeful. Our inner landscape is always evolving. Every moment of self-reflection, every philosophical conversation, every time you read something that challenges you, that shapes the architecture of your mind. And this change happens in three deeply interconnected ways. First, experiential. Our experiences shape the way we interpret reality. Every conversation, every book, every heartbreak or breakthrough adds another layer to our personal narrative. These layers influence how we see the world and how we see ourselves. This kind of learning happens quickly, often in the moment. It explains why a single life-changing experience can transform someone overnight. Second, conceptual. This is the structure of your beliefs, how your thoughts connect. When you begin to question your assumptions, when you challenge inherited ideas, you're not just changing what you think, you're changing how you think. These deeper shifts take time. They're harder to undo, but they form the foundation for long-term growth. You may have noticed this in your own life. Maybe you started thinking critically about free will, or questioned the nature of morality. At first, it's disorienting, but over time, your mental framework adjusts, and your entire worldview might shift as a result. Third, functional. The more we engage in deep reflection, the easier it becomes. Like any muscle, the mind strengthens with use. We develop habits of thinking that make introspection more natural and wisdom more accessible. Over time, networks of thought align. We become more adaptable, more insightful. In essence, we become better philosophers. So mental plasticity is supported by our experiences, our ideas, and our mental habits. And all of this is happening beneath the surface, shaping us in ways we often don't notice. But here's the big question. If we are so adaptive, so capable of growth, why do we still fall into dogma, rigid beliefs, and narrow thinking? Why do societies repeat the same philosophical mistakes over and over again? Why, despite all our potential, do some of us resist change? These are the mysteries I explore in my work. I look specifically at how the mind resists or embraces transformation over time. It turns out that true philosophical growth is not easy. It takes courage, it takes discomfort, and it takes a willingness to be wrong. But here's the most important thing. You are not stuck. Your mind is not a finished product. You are a process. And every time you ask a deeper question, every time you open your mind to a new perspective, you're not just learning about the world, you are becoming someone new.